Well, hello there. A very happy new year to you and welcome to the Stamp Around UK vlog hop. First one of 2024. How exciting. Brand new year. New products as well to show you. So this new gorgeous embossing folder is from the mini catalogue, which is about to be released in a few days' time. Don't miss it. It's just really detailed, got some really beautiful florals in there. And just so that you know, for reference, it's called Layered Florals. And I will be showing this and using this a lot more in the next few weeks. Also this one here, which is a freebie. So if you spend £90 in the next, between January and February, once celebration has begun, you can earn this embossing folder with a beautiful stamp set, which I'm not showing you today, just the embossing folder. And this can be earned for free. So I've got a little plan. I was thinking of using this embossing folder to do some embossing onto this piece of wild wheat, but also using some Pebbled Path ink with it. So the reason I would use ink on a embossing folder is to particularly highlight the real detailed elements of it. So it's very simple to do. With this one and this technique that I'm doing today, I'm going to be putting colour onto the side of the embossing folder that has the logo on it. So all I do is get my ink pad, this is Pebbled Path, and I'm just going to apply ink by dabbing it directly onto the embossing folder like so. And I'm being careful not to press too hard, because I don't want ink to go too much on the inside of those flowers, because I want to leave those bits bare, because I want the wild wheat flowers to show up. I'm just taking my time, just going round and putting the ink on just to build up that colour, to make sure there's an even coating across the whole embossing folder. And what I'm also going to do is give it a light spritz of water. So I'm just going to very lightly, with my little spritzer tool here, give it a light coating just to add a bit more moisture to my folder. Place that on, and then I'm going to run it through my embossing machine. So for this, I use plate number 1 and plate number 4. This is because it is a 3D embossing folder, so you just need that special combination of plates. And I'm also just going to give it a little bit more of a press, just to make sure all that watery, inky goodness has soaked into my cardstock there. And there you have it. And you can see a little bit more of that detail happening there. Now I can see that not all the ink has transferred, so I'm actually going to place that back into my embossing folder, and I can kind of like feel for it there, and because I can see that there are some little ink spots there, so I'm going to actually run that through one more time just to see if it will transfer a bit better. So I also gave it a little bit more spritz of my water, just to make it a little bit more inky, just to make sure it transferred more of that ink onto there. So I quite like that. I like all the different textures that are happening there, and also it definitely has highlighted that flower for me. Really beautiful. So now I'm going to just use an embossing folder just as it is. Now let me just have a feel of this one. Yes, this is a 3D one as well, and I want to create some kind of background for to stick my panel on, and I want to use some Pebbled Path. So this is going to now go through the machine. So let's have a look at this design and how it embosses. Oh, that's so pretty. It's like quilted stitching. Oh, and the other side is just as nice. It's got tiny little dots on it. So you've got a choice of how you want to use this one, because both sides are equally beautiful. So you've got this sort of like raised dots effect, or that beautiful, almost like quilted sort of style. Right, so let's assemble this card. I want to keep it fairly simple, as I really want to make the embossing kind of like panel shine. And I did have an idea of maybe using part of this section here and then perhaps cutting out one of these beautiful flowers. So I can feel that this is still a little bit damp, so I'm actually going to get my little heat tool on here. And this is a really useful heat tool because not only will it dry things that are damp, but also it's great for using on embossing powder. So I'm going to just do that and come back. So now this is nice and dry, I want to cut a panel from here, but I also want to preserve one of the flowers so that I can cut it out and use it. So let's pop it into my trimmer and see how close I can cut this without actually cutting into one of the flowers. So let's see if I can get it to there. So that's about 9.5 centimeters, which is absolutely fine. So I'm going to go with 9.5 because I want to stick that onto, actually I might turn it over and use that side. I want to stick that onto there to have that border. So I'm just going to cut that off to up there. So that's about 12.8. So I'm going to stick that onto there. And then I want to fussy cut some of these gorgeous flowers and see if I can do or enhance or do something interesting to that panel there. So here I've got a whole flower that can be cut out. So I don't think I've ever done this before, where I've actually fussy cut an embossed flower before. I don't think we've ever had, well, actually there was a few years ago we had that lovely embossing folder called, was it Cottage Roses? And that was super pretty. And maybe that would have been nice to cut out. But I don't think I have done this or had an idea to do this with a recent embossing folder. So the reason I cut out all those little that flower there is because I'm not sure whether to keep it because it's so pretty. So let's see if we can make our way around this. So as I said, a happy new year to everybody. I've not actually, I'm currently filming this on the 29th and as yet I haven't done a live for a few days. We've been enjoying some family time, some me and Tom time, and although I am thinking of everybody on my YouTube channel and all my various customers and followers, I'm also aware that it's important for me to have a bit of time out and a break just to kind of switch off from things. Because much as I love my Artful Stampin community, I am just aware that, you know, it's good to also have breaks. So I've been enjoying doing some sock knitting, as I do have rather a large stash of yarn to get through. And yeah, so my husband and I enjoyed a couple of days in the town where we met. And the weather wasn't very good, actually, I have to say, but it was perfect weather if you like a stormy sea. So we enjoyed watching some waves crashing on the beach. And some rather spectacular thunder and lightning the next day. And there have been a number of storms in the UK as well as where we were. What else have we been doing? Well, we had a really lovely Christmas day, but I'll probably tell you more about that on a live sometime. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name's Ruth. I do a combination of mainly live videos, but also pre-recorded ones, especially for sort of vlog hops and blog hops that I'm involved in. And also I do have a Facebook group if you're interested in sharing some of your creations. Right, I really quite like that. I'm wondering whether to brush over that with a little bit more ink. And I'm just going to have a look and see if there's another flower that I'd like to cut out to really build up this. yeah, I think I might just cut this one out. Now, if I think this is going to get too boring, I may just pause the recording, cut this out, and then come back to it. Yeah, I think I will do that. So I've cut these flowers out, and I'm thinking it would be nice to brush some more Pebbled Path ink just on the edges of those flowers to make them stand out a little bit more. So I've got my Stampin' Up brush here, and I'm just dipping it into the Pebbled Path ink. I'm very gently just popping that over the edges there, because I want this to stand out a little bit more. So, very simple technique to highlight card. And then I'm also thinking it'd be nice just to darken up the edges of this embossed panel as well. Again, a super simple technique. So the Stamp Around UK Vlog Hop is a group of UK demonstrators who share a video on at the beginning of every month. And if you go to the description of this video, usually sort of says more or something if you look at the bottom of this video, I'll say something like more, and then you'll be able to see my description and a list of all the other hoppers this month. So we get given a theme, and we use that theme to create a little video for you. And yeah, it's super duper fun. Right, now why have I got gold on that edge? I do not know, and I don't, that's a bit scrappy. I think I might just cut myself another piece. That's better. So I've cut myself a card base, and it's basically half a sheet of A4 with a score in the middle. And I'm just going to mount now the Pebbled Path panel that has had a little bit of ink just brushed onto the edges. Yes, so I'm looking forward to seeing everybody else's creations. It's amazing how we can just have one theme and just have lots of different ideas being shared. Now, because this card is going to end up quite thick anyway with all my layering, I'm just gluing this on. I'm not using dimensionals for this bit. And I am being quite liberal with the glue because of all the embossing that's happened. You want to make sure that there's enough glue to hold down the panel. And I know it almost seems a shame to cover up that lovely embossed piece underneath, but that is just to kind of help this panel sing, really. So I'm turning it over because I want to give it a really good rub to make sure that that embossed piece really sticks down. Okay, happy. And then I've got these couple of floral pieces that I want to add, but for this I want to use dimensionals just to lift up what's happening here. So I've got a great big flower there that I don't really want to cover up, so I'm thinking if I place that one there and maybe that one there, then none of the big flowers get covered. So I'm going to use dimensionals on the back of here to give it dimension. That's why they're called dimensionals. So if you're new to Stampin' Up products, we sometimes have names for things that may be a bit different to other craft companies. I do particularly like our dimensionals because they're hexagonally shaped, and it just makes it so much easier to peel off the backing paper. Before I used to use these, I didn't see the point. I was like, what's the point of having hexagons? But now I've used these for a number of years. I'm like, so much easier. And of course, you don't have to use all of it. You can cut up smaller pieces if needs be. We actually do have some smaller dimensionals, but I couldn't be bothered to root around for them. Right, so I'll pop that there. All right. I like that. So I am actually just going to leave that there for today. But of course, if you wanted to add a sentiment, it's very easy just to pop one on there, because I just think it's just such a beautiful, you know, lots of beautiful things going on here. It doesn't necessarily need a lot more. Of course, if you wanted to add a little bit of some kind of, oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to do it. I was thinking of adding some of these lovely, a squeeze of this metallic effects, and I'm just rooting around to see if I can find the black one, because I think this would go really nicely. So maybe give these a bit of a centre, these little flowers here. So I'm just going to do some blobs there, and then maybe just the odd little accent around and about, like so. Oops. Oop, that one went a bit too far over. I'm going to have to use my nail just to clean that up. There we go. That sometimes happens if you pull it away too soon. There we go. I'm just going to let that dry overnight, and then that'll be good to go. Oh, see, I can't resist it. Once I've got it out, I'm like, oh, just do a few more. Oh, look, there's a little centre there that might need filling. There we go. Oh, and there's one there. And one there. Why not? Oh, and another one there. Oh, look. I'm finding them all now. Okay, I'm going to stop there before I get too carried away. Right, there we have it. So thank you so much for joining me, and please do go and check out everybody else in the vlog hop. Take care for now. See you soon. Bye.